It is the winter of 1792, and a massive military city has been carved out of the Pennsylvania wilderness. This is Legion Ville. Inside the rough-hewn log barracks, 2,000 men live shoulder to shoulder. The air is thick with wood smoke, the smell of damp wool, and the sweat of endless, freezing labor. To maintain even minimal hygiene, the camp's washerwomen perform a back-breaking chore. They spend hours scrubbing heavy, wet wool shirts and stockings by hand over wooden tubs. Seeking relief from the biting wind, several women attempt a logical shortcut. They set up their washboards beside a small, clear stream that conveniently winds right through the center of the camp. An officer in a dark blue coat immediately approaches, angrily orders the women to stop scrubbing, and shuts the operation down. To the exhausted workers, this looks like pure cruelty. A commanding officer is arbitrarily forcing tired women to haul heavy tubs of wet clothes for miles, rather than letting them use the fresh water running right at their feet. The officer, however, is looking at a different map of the camp. He knows exactly where that convenient little stream leads. That small waterway feeds directly into the natural springs. It is the exact source where 2,000 soldiers draw their daily drinking water. A few tubs of dirty laundry would send soap, dirt, and human waste straight into the drinking supply of the entire army. A detail of soldiers is called in to help carry the heavy tubs away from the center of camp, marching them all the way down to the broad, fast-moving current of the Ohio River. General Anthony Wayne mandated this separation. The agonizing, freezing walk to the river was the non-negotiable price of keeping the camp's water supply pristine. The Ohio River is a long walk in November. Exhausted soldiers, fighting the freezing winds, were constantly tempted to cheat the system and sneak back to the closer streams to rinse a shirt. When they were caught, the entire camp knew it. A guilty soldier would soon be found standing dripping wet on the riverbank, shivering violently while his squadmates tried not to laugh. General Wayne enforced a strict penalty known as the 3 dunks rule. Anyone caught washing in the camp's interior streams was grabbed by their comrades and plunged completely into the freezing Ohio River 3 times. Being forcibly dunked in ice water appears to be a harsh, almost comical overreaction to the minor offense of rinsing out a dirty sock. The sergeants executing the punishment understood the stakes. A freezing plunge was a perfectly acceptable deterrent if it kept a lethal outbreak of fever from sweeping through the barracks. General Wayne's paranoia was entirely justified. In the 18th century, disease killed vastly more soldiers than enemy combatants ever did. Conditions in winter encampments were a breeding ground for epidemic typhus, dysentery, and camp fever, illnesses that thrived in close quarters and contaminated water. Wayne operated simultaneously as a military tactician and a strict public health enforcer, fighting a biological enemy long before germ theory was fully understood. A fouled spring inside Legion Ville was a biological bomb. It could easily wipe out America's first professional army before they ever marched out of the valley. General Wayne approached his command as an architect laying down a foundation. Any master mason knows a house will eventually collapse if the first stones are laid in the mud. Wayne knew an army would inevitably crumble if it ignored basic sanitation. By rigorously enforcing the hardest, least convenient procedures, like the Ohio weather laundry mandate, he forged a synchronized culture of absolute discipline. The 3 dunks rule served a deliberate purpose. It was the meticulous, ground-up preparation required to ensure the survival and success of a young nation's very first professional fighting force.